Am I the a-hole? Um, I'm married to a pretty large family, and when I come across these stories, it's really hard for me to compare my in-laws and my relatives to these stories. So I'm getting to a point, but my in-laws, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, niece and nephew, they just as crazy as I am. So we get along freaking fantastic um, all the time. So it's very hard for me to compare what I deal with compared to the stories. However, that being said, I know that sometimes when you with your in-laws, you want to put your, your you try to be nicer. You try to, even with their very toxic and everything like that, you try not to, just say what you really want to say. I mean, I'm pretty sure when you get home, you blank and go off and tell your wife or your husband, hey, your freaking sister or your brother, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your aunt, they crazy as hell and they getting on my damn nerve. I know you tell them that, but you try not to do that so you don't embarrass your spouse. All that to say, but sometimes you just kind of have to do it.
For context, I've been married to my wife for 10 years and we're a mixed race couple. I'm Asian and she's Caucasian. I've always gotten along with my wife's family, her mother, brother, and sister. But I always felt like her father and her other sister, Sarah, never liked me. I'm a professionally trained chef with 15 years of experience, and I work at a high-end Chinese restaurant in a large US city. My crew and I have won several awards, and I've been explicitly told that I'll be the next executive chef. Sarah is also a professionally trained chef and works at a popular upscale French restaurant in the city. She constantly brags about it, and no joke, she compares herself to Gordon Ramsay and Anthony Bourdain. Whenever I'm hanging out with my wife's family and helping in the kitchen, Sarah is always criticizing everything I do. Whether it's chopping, braising, marinating, etc., she always butts in with comments like, I think you should actually do it like this. I've been patient for my wife's sake and I've sidestepped those comments, saying things like, thanks, but I think I'll stick to the way that I do it. Things came to a head 2 weeks ago when my wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, and I were in her parents' kitchen preparing dinner for my mother-in-law's birthday. We were running a bit behind, so things were heated, and that's when Sarah walked in. She took one look at what I was doing, scoffed, and said something like, "Oh, wow, okay, so that's not the right way of doing things." She hit a nerve, and I pretty sternly told her to stop criticizing my cooking and that I'm also a chef like her. She laughed and said, "Making Kung Pao chicken at some Chinese restaurant doesn't count." The kitchen went silent. My father-in-law kind of chuckled, and my mother-in-law said, "Sarah, what is wrong with you?" I stopped what I was doing, swore at her, and called her a racist piece of garbage. I apologized to my mother-in-law for not being able to stay, and I left for home with my wife. Apparently, this caused a massive fight after we left, with my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and other sister-in-law taking my side, and my father-in-law and Sarah saying it was a joke, but kind of true, and that I was being too sensitive. The extended family somehow got wind of this, and now everyone is arguing and taking sides. And my wife is even getting texts from some of her cousins apologizing for Sarah's behavior. Despite being on my side, my wife is begging me to apologize so the fighting will stop. But I refuse to, because F Sarah and her blatant racism. Am I the butthole?
One, I'm not apologizing. Two, you are a racist piece of shit. Three, apparently your daddy a piece of shit too. Four, thank goodness that your mama ain't. Five, and I'm going back to number one. What exactly am I apologizing for? For calling her racist? for cussing her out. And if here's the deal, I am so sick and tired of people calling racism and bigotry and homophobic and these all these other jokes as being you're just too sensitive. Fucker, I ain't gonna man up so you can be who you are. That ain't how this works. I'm not gonna lower my standard to raise your self-esteem. I'm not gonna sit there and let you, as I've been saying all my life since I was a kid, you ain't gonna talk to me. Well, not as a kid because it's just recent stuff, but you ain't gonna talk to me any type of way. Sorry, but not sorry. You just not gonna do it. My mom, who raised me, don't even say stuff like that. What the hell makes you think you gonna be able to? And nothing's gonna be done. Let me rephrase that. What makes you think you gonna be able to talk to me any type of way and nothing's gonna be said back? That's my question. So you want to throw it? Cool. Just be ready to catch it. Go ahead, Theus.
I'm gonna try not to get off track because I do that a lot. We'll gather my thoughts just a little bit. Now, what's beautiful about this particular situation is that we're able to look at it as two separate ethnicities without Black being involved. But what you see is that racism really ain't about Black and white, which is really important for people to gather, that it's not just a Black and white thing. So here we have a gentleman who is of Asian descent, and we have his white wife. Now, as you guys know, I personally don't care if somebody's racist. Now, you're going to be held accountable for what comes out your little dumbass racist mouth. But I think people should be free to be racist. You know, just keep your mouth shut around certain people and do racist things around your racist friends. But here you go, folks. Not gonna like what I'm about to say. I don't really feel for old boy. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I don't is because when you decide, and I'm not against interracial relationships. I am not. I have dated more women who were Latina than were Black up until I was in college. But when you decide to date or marry outside of your culture, you also are taking on, you have decided that you're ready to navigate all the shit that comes with it. So you married this woman. She's the right woman for you. She's a good woman for you. You know what I'm saying? You both got good careers. You both doing what you do. But you know what? You don't get to choose a family. No matter how you date, marry, or whatever, you don't get to choose a family. You get crazy shit no matter where you go. But once you crossed over, you just amped it up a little bit, right? The odds of you running into a racist cousin, brother, sister, father-in-law, way up there, because it's very prevalent in the white community, right? Now, this could also happen if it was a Black man, for example, who married into a Latino community, because there's anti-Blackness in different places. But what he's run into is about bigotry, okay? And what we've heard as Black people far too often, oh, it was just a joke. Oh, you shouldn't take it like that. So Black people hope you paying attention that it ain't about us. This is how they fucking roll. So this father and this sister are bigots. And they feel like because of their privilege that they can say anything they want to somebody else, and you just have to take it. It's a cultural issue. He married into a cultural issue. He's now dealing with a cultural situation. Bruh, navigate it as best you can. I really don't I don't care, dude. Like, you chose this for yourself. And I trust that you're gonna be strong enough to navigate it. And your response, in my view, makes perfect sense. Somebody came out their pocket to you. You came back and defended yourself. And the world will play itself out from there. But the fact that you got a racist father-in-law and a racist sister-in-law,